Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another exciting Australian Indian Radio's daily live updates. And it's a beautiful day out there today once again, a glorious Brisbane day. Let's have a very quick look at the outside. Yes, it's still looking wonderful and very good there. So ladies and gentlemen, today we've got quite a bit to talk about as well once again. And we will bring to you that interview here today as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, what's today looking like? So, rest of Wednesday, the summary is maximum of 24, mostly sunny, and chance of rain is 20%. Remember, yesterday was zilch, today is chance of 20% of rain. So, which is quite good to see that, we do need a little bit of rain as well. So, Brisbane area, mostly sunny, patchy fog in the west. Early this morning, slight 20% chance of a shower about Bayside suburbs this evening. Near zero chance of rain elsewhere. Light winds becoming southeasterly 15 to 20 kilometers in the morning and then becoming light in the evening. The fire danger still remains low to moderate. So once again, always do exercise that care. Sun protection from now till about 1:10 is recommended, with the UV rating still maintaining its standard at 4, which is quite moderate for around here in Brisbane. So ladies and gentlemen, what's been happening out there? There's been a lot that's been happening out there in the community. We will be talking about all those. But one of the very big and very disturbing news that's come out is the conflict on the border. Now, the original reports that came out was about the deaths, and the deaths were said that there was only 3, but later on the news came out as that the deaths were about 20. So we're just waiting for the latest update to come on, and as soon as that's come on, we will switch to that news. But right now, let's look at what else is happening here locally as well. Melbourne, there have been 3 teens arrested when they were stabbed to death, and a major breakthrough for COVID-19 treatments, and South Australia reopens its borders. Well, so welcome to this morning's key news, is covering you with all the updates. Of course, the weather we have done, and the key issues that are there are the 3 arrested the 16-year-old boy stabbed to death near Melbourne shopping centre. And in South Australia, it's reopening its borders to Northern Territory, Western Australia and Tasmania. And there's a major breakthrough on COVID-19 treatment. We'll look at that. And New Zealand records another 2 coronavirus cases after declaring a coronavirus free. So, as soon as you travel and as soon as you ease the restrictions, this is going to happen. So I think easing into the restrictions would be best, so that you take steps and go easy and easily. And the news that was about the Indian soldiers in the clash of the disputed border. So at least 20 Indian soldiers have died after a violent face-off with Chinese troops along the country's de facto border in the Himalayas late Monday, the Indian Army said. As we know, that when the British left, they gave us a sort of an imaginary border, which I don't think India or China ever 100% agreed on, and that is always a grief. As we know, there's so many borders. So we've got the Nepal border, we have the Chinese border, the Pakistan border. So, India has always been trying to protect its borders. So the incident occurred at the desalination process underway at the Galwan Valley in the disputed Sky Chin Ladakh area, where a large troop build-up has reportedly seen taking place for weeks on both sides of the border, and a senior military commands begin talks as that happens. So right now we have received a latest update. So let's have a look at the update from that area.
20 Indian soldiers have been killed fighting with Chinese troops on a disputed border region, according to the Indian Army and government sources. In a statement, the army said that 17 critically injured Indian troops had succumbed to their wounds, in addition to an officer and 2 soldiers who had died earlier. The incident happened on Monday and the exact circumstances of the killing is not yet clear. Earlier on Tuesday, sources suggested a physical altercation had broken out and no shots were fired. At the time, the sources said the fight involved batons and throwing rocks. It's the first casualties in 53 years to result from a clash between the nuclear-armed neighbours. China blamed India for the clash on Monday, and the editor of the government-controlled Global Times said the Chinese military had also suffered casualties, without elaborating. India and China have been locked in a standoff in the Galwan Valley in western Himalayas for weeks, with both accusing each other of trespassing into the other's territory. Talks have been held in recent days to defuse the situation, but no breakthrough has emerged. The Chinese Foreign Ministry called on India not to take any unilateral action or to stir up trouble.
And of course, India is always known for not attacking but always protecting. And if it always takes a defensive action, and what course of action would be taken at this point in time? Of course, as the government has said that, let's keep cool, calm, and deal with it in a manner that they've always done. So it is a bit of unrest that's happening there. I've got a bit of file footage of the conflict, over the years and why and how it sort of came about. So this is a file footage. This is not the current news, but again, it's quite worthwhile looking at that and finding out exactly what has been happening on the border for quite some time.
Tensions between China and India had been on the rise for several weeks now, with each side deploying thousands of additional troops on either side of the border, leading to an increasingly volatile situation. Now, at the heart of this is a border dispute handed down from British colonial times, with neither Beijing nor New Delhi able to agree on where the demarcation between China and India actually stands. And over the past 70 years, there's been a war, there's been firefights and brawls, and this Tuesday it had been several decades since anyone had died during these confrontations. There's been over 20 rounds of negotiations to settle this issue. All of them have been unsuccessful so far. Beyond this border dispute, there's also a growing rivalry between two nuclear powers. On the one hand, China under Xi Jinping has been increasingly more assertive in its foreign policy and its territorial claims. We've seen this over the past few years, with China making sweeping claims on the South China Sea, with China exerting more control over semi-autonomous Hong Kong and not excluding using force to achieve reunification with Taiwan. India, on the other hand, has been exerting more control over its border regions, with the building of roads and airstrips and shipping in of military equipment, all of this bolstered by its close relationship with Washington, D.C. So this latest confrontation is just the latest manifestation of this rivalry.
And it is the latest manifestation of this rivalry, which has been going on for quite some time. As we know, it is quite unfortunate, but that is the current situation there. So right now we are going to look at Khatta Meetha, the new vegetarian Indian restaurant cafe that has opened. Well, it officially opens today, but as you know, only 20 people at a time are allowed. And we had a sneak preview yesterday, and it is quite good. 100% vegetarian catering for sweets, street foods, and they cater for the whole variety. So it is not only Punjabi or South Indian, so Punjabi, Gujarati, every dish that you would love to have is there. And the secret is from a family tradition and these traditional herbs and spices and the family recipes that have been handed down that are going to be used. That's what Kamar Bal told us. Kamar himself is, more into event management and other things, but he will be running the show. But we having that expertise and that family knowledge from the back. So let's have a quick look at Khatta Meetha. And ladies and gentlemen, don't forget it is a 100% vegetarian restaurant. So, fresh Indian sweets, dine-in and takeaway, and it's officially opening the doors today. So do come in and have a look at all the wonderful variety that they have to offer you there. Wishing Kamarwal all the very best with his venture, and I'm sure with his knowledge and expertise, it will go a long way. So if you're looking for a nice vegetarian meal, do come along to Kattamita, which is, as I speak, now open for business, and it will, at the moment, under the current rules and regulations, it will be catering for the 20 people at a time. So Kamarwal, I'd like to wish you all the very best for this venture, and I know that you will do well with this venture. Well, right now, let's move on, and I'd like to take you to one of our interviews, and we're going to talk with Nathan Barker, who is from the Commonwealth Bank, and as we know that Commonwealth Bank has always been supporting the community all the time. And they have a very wonderful initiative where they are helping community organizations. The grants are open until 30th of June. It will be a wonderful time if you are eligible and if you fall within the range that he will talk about, and the range being, if you are in the fire-affected areas. So this is part of that, and he's reached out to us to make sure that the message does get out to our community, and so that we know that anyone who's eligible has
organisations across the country that have been working in local communities and were impacted by the bushfires, so looking to replace and need the support, looking to replace their lost or damaged equipment or facilities as a result of those devastating fires.
And that is a wonderful initiative, I must say. So, to apply, who can apply for this grant?
A wide range of organisations can apply. So it's open to sort of any community organisation, be it a local school, parents and community organisation, sporting clubs, fire brigades, and non-government associations. So if you think about it, if you're a community organisation based in a bushfire impacted community and you've got a bank account, then you're probably eligible to apply.
And that, again, is wonderful. As we know, there are many organizations there who probably weren't aware of this. So having looked at the organizations that you always help and assist, what type of organizations have you helped so far?
A really great variety. So we've had everything from some local school organisations replacing their community gardens or putting some new turf on their ovals, through to pony clubs replacing some of their damage to the sheds and that for the ponies, as well as local men's sheds and gardening clubs. So it's been a real wide mix of organisations across the country that we've been able to support with this program, which is just terrific.
And it is terrific, as you have just mentioned, that this kind of help is available to this kind of organizations. Of course, they need to be eligible. So one of the eligibility criteria you said was that they have to be in the bushfire affected areas.
That's right. So if you're in a fire zone, so obviously much of Australia got impacted by smoke last year, but these grants are about organisations that are in the fire zone. So if you had fire coming into your property and that was damaged, then they're the organisations we're looking to support through these grants.
And once again, that is amazing. So what impact will this grant make on those affected communities?
We think these will have a really important impact on helping the communities get back on their feet again. Community organisations are a really important part of bringing us all together, getting us involved locally. And so getting us back to a new normal is what we think will happen out of these grants. It's been an unusual year, so we know that many organisations haven't had their regular year. No one's really had their regular year. And so we're hoping these grants will have that change of getting things back on their feet. It's a difficult time to fundraise, so hopefully it'll help them get things moving a little bit quicker. And
Nathan, you have quite rightfully said that no one's had a regular year, not especially in 2020. So it has been a very, very challenging year. It is wonderful, all the information you have there. But if our listeners want some more information, where can they get more information? Where should they go?
Your listeners can jump onto the bank's website at combank.com.au and search bushfire recovery. We've got a page there with all the information that I've discussed today, as well as some further detail. and a link through to our application form. And there's really only 3 simple questions they need to answer, so it shouldn't take them too long to apply.
Nathan, once again, thank you very much for that information, and I'm sure many of our people listening in, and if you are part of an organization that is eligible and that was affected, please do apply for that grant. Nathan, once again, thank you so much for sharing this very, very important information with all of our listeners.
Thank you, and I look forward to seeing the applications come through.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
So, ladies and gentlemen, CommBank once again coming to the rescue there. It is wonderful, and with an ambition of an aid long-term recovery and part of the broader bushfire appeal, CommBank bushfire recovery grants have already been awarded to more than 100 organizations across Australia, totaling 3.5. CommBank has committed to donating up to 10 million to the bushfire affected organizations through its bushfire recovery grants programs. Applications to apply for the grants close on 30th of June, so you have to do so in a timely manner. For more information, visit www.commbank.com.au/latest/bushfire appeal. So, ladies and gentlemen, and as has been said, that is a wonderful grant that you can apply for. Obviously, if you must fall within those guidelines, you must have to spend it on some infrastructure or some repairs of your existing properties or facilities and infrastructure. So, if you want more information, please do contact us, and we can pass that information on to you. And if you are eligible, make sure that you put your application in before 30th of June. That has been another community announcement right here from Australian Indian Radio Australia Live. Right now, let's take a look at our sponsor.
ग्लोबनेट रियलिटी 1989 से लेकर अब तक का विश्वसनीय और माननीय ब्रिस्बेन का रियल एस्टेट एजेंट है। उषा चंद्रा, जो कि ग्लोबनेट की डायरेक्टर है, अपने ग्राहकों को ईमानदार और एथिक सर्विसेज देती हैं। अगर आप ब्रिस्बेन की प्रॉपर्टी में पूंजी लगाना चाहते हैं और आप चाहते हैं कि आपकी प्रॉपर्टी को प्रोफेशनली मैनेज किया जाए, तो आप आज ही कांटेक्ट कीजिए उषा चंद्रा को। लैंडलाइन नंबर है 38654466 और मोबाइल नंबर है 0419775416। और आप प्रॉपर्टी की अधिक जानकारी और करंट अपडेट्स के लिए हमारी वेबसाइट पे लॉगिन कर सकते हैं। हमारी वेबसाइट है www.globnetreality.com.au। ग्लोबनेट रियलिटी आपका अपना लोकल रियल एस्टेट एजेंट है। हमारा पता है ग्लोबनेट रियलिटी, शॉप नंबर 5, 2281 सैंडगेट रोड, बुंदल, क्वींसलैंड। ग्लोबनेट रियलिटी, रियल एस्टेट इज आवर वर्ल्ड।
And it definitely is the world, and they do a wonderful job of the real estate, of course, being one of the longest established agencies in the area. And they say you can beat anything, but you can't beat experience. Been there, done that. So it is wonderful to see Strings driving along and still doing so well within all the other competitions. So well done. Keep up the good work out there. Right now, keeping up the good work, let's look at the good work of our community and how it has been recognized in the Parliament House. And of course, thanks to our Senator Paul Scar, who is a very much a community person. And this is what he had to report in Canberra from his last visit to the Gurdwara. And he has, it's not only the Gurdwaras, he's been to other places as well. But in this speech, he especially makes mention of the very wonderful radiant Sikh community and also of all the Gurdwaras. So let's go to the Parliament House and see what he had to say.
Let us go. Mr Acting Deputy President, yesterday I was truly honoured to move a motion expressing the Senate's deep appreciation to members of the Brisbane Sikh Gurdwara for their efforts in helping people in need during the coronavirus pandemic. The motion was co-sponsored by my fellow LNP senators from Queensland and was passed. And that is important. It's extremely important that this place acknowledge and appreciate the efforts of the Brisbane Sikh Gurdwara, and that appreciation is now on the parliamentary record. Because it should be. It should be. Because it represents the best of Australia's values. Australians reaching out to people in need. I also place on the record my appreciation for the efforts of the members of all the other Sikh Gurdwaras across our beautiful country, helping people at this time. And that includes the Singh Sabha Gurdwara Brisbane, at Tagum, Gold Coast Gurdwara, Sikh Temple and Community Education Centre at Helensvale, and also the Gurdwara Sahib Gold Coast at Nerang, and all the other Gurdwaras in all the other states across our beautiful country. I'd like to thank Parnam Singh for organising my visit to the Brisbane Sikh Gurdwara, and I'd also like to place on the record my thanks to Nash Dosanjh for organising for me to assist in the drop-off of meals and grocery hampers with members of the Gurdwara. I deeply appreciate their assistance. The Brisbane Sikh Gurdwara has provided approximately 20,000 free cooked meals and 2,000 free grocery hampers to people in need during the coronavirus pandemic. In providing that assistance, members of the Brisbane Sikh Gurdwara have volunteered their time continually over the last 3 months. And I met, Mr Acting Deputy President, I met some of these volunteers. Some of these volunteers have worked every single day for over 2 months between the hours of 6:30 a.m. and 8:30 p.m. on this project. 14 hours a day on this project to deliver those 20,000 free cooked meals and 2,000 free grocery hampers. 14 hours a day. 14 hours a day. Quite extraordinary. And it's appropriate that I put their names on this parliamentary record. So their selfless service can be recognised by their fellow Australians. Tejpal Singh has been intimately involved in organising food and groceries, packing and delivering. Gurpreet Singh Bal, packing food, and has been in charge of the kitchen. And I must say, what a well-run kitchen it is. What a well-run kitchen it is. Certainly better run than my kitchen upstairs at the moment. Surinder Singh, grocery packing. Rocky Singh, food packing and cooking. Kishore Kumar, handing over cooked food to people attending the Gurdwara to pick up food and grocery hampers. Mahinder Singh, delivering food and groceries. Gurpreet Singh, cooking food. And what beautiful food it is. And Mahinder mentioned to me when I was visiting the temple that one of the reasons, he said to me, Senator, one of the reasons this food tastes so good is because of the TLC, the tender loving care that's put into that food. And he's right, absolutely correct. Gurpreet Singh, cooking food, as I said, beautiful food. Harpreet Singh, handing out food to people attending to pick up food and grocery hampers. Sonu in the kitchen, helping cleaning these huge, big, industrial-sized cooking pots. And as I mentioned, Nash Dosanjh, delivering food and groceries. Nash also provided me with an opportunity to participate in the delivery of some of these free cooked meals and grocery hampers. And I must say, it was an absolute joy spending time with members of the Brisbane Sikh Temple on their bus, travelling around Brisbane, delivering this free food and these grocery hampers. There was such an atmosphere of kindness and goodness and good humour on that bus. It was just a terrific experience, absolutely terrific. And the first person in need who we visited was Alejandro from Colombia, who was an international student. And I really pay homage to all of our multicultural communities who are out there assisting international students at this point in time. I'd like to make 3 reflections in relation upon what I saw. First, the dignity and respect with which members of the Gurdwara treated every person who they assisted. And it can be hard. It can be hard for people to reach out for help. They might be embarrassed, they might be self-conscious, they might find it quite difficult to seek that assistance. But the members of the Gurdwara treated them with absolute respect. Secondly, I note that the assistance has been provided to Australians and visitors to Australia irrespective of race, religion or nationality. And that is a reflection of the Sikh religion, a belief that we as humans are all equal. We're all equal and part of the oneness of humanity. And thirdly, the importance for assistance to be given in a selfless way, not looking for anything in return, just wanting to help someone, just wanting to give. And I must say, in my time, visiting the temple on the first time and then participating in the deliveries, not once did any of those volunteers or members of that community raise any personal hardship with me? Not once. There were no complaints. Their sole focus was on helping others. Just absolutely inspirational. Inspirational. And they also told me, in terms of the importance of giving, that each donation has the same moral significance. It doesn't matter if it's $1 or $1,000. It has the same moral significance, and that's such a powerful message. And this is not the first time that this Gurdwara, and indeed I'm sure Gurdwaras all over this country, have provided assistance to people in need. I was told that the Brisbane Sikh Gurdwara has previously helped members of the Australian community at the time of the most recent bushfires and droughts, and has provided the delivery of water and also the delivery of other essential services. And
so there you are, ladies and gentlemen. That's our Senator Paul Scar, and he is a regular here in the studios. And I'm pretty sure on his next trip back to Brisbane, he will come and join us here to give us an update. And I'll vouch with him of everything that he said, because we, as media, Australian Indian Radio and Brisbane Indian Times, were invited on a similar bench, and we went and had a look at the first end, and you'll probably remember, did a program right from here and showed you the clips of the kitchen that he mentioned, how well that is run, and the goodwill that flows out of that place. So, well done, Senator, for visiting, and for everyone who's helped arrange the tour of the Senator from there. It is wonderful that now it is recorded in the Parliament official record, which will go down in the history of Australia's book. It has been said, passed and recorded in the Parliament. So very, very well done. It's an excellent news to see that this kind of things are happening out there in the community. And I take my hats off to everyone who helped facilitate that session. Right now, let's look at some of the upcoming events. Positive parenting there by the Vietnamese community, Kata Mita, which is open today. Remember, 20 people at the time only. And the High Commission of India arranging the Yoga Day festival, which will be at the Gandhi statue. And breathe your way with Art of Foundation of Living, and all these organizations who come on board to provide this wonderful community service despite the COVID-19 conditions, and everyone's still doing the community things out there. So it is wonderful to see that all of these are still happening and taking place. The food delivery, this is the one that the Senator has been to. The Hindu helpline is still available for the community support. And of course, International Yoga Day, 21st June, don't forget that. And there's also, I must mention, the Now India, the quiz that's happening, the online quiz. The programs of Vedanta Centre of Sydney's Brisbane chapter are wonderful that all the programs. Sayog Brisbane, a collective effort of many community organizations, is still very, very active on there as well. So, don't forget that all these are being done voluntary. Now, this one here, Stand By, is a very great organization which helps people affected by mental health or someone who is had self-harm. So it is wonderful that they are out there and they can help and support the people. And of course, just a very quick note that our Tuesday Ramayana sessions have reconvened. We have been convening for the last few weeks at the Gayatri Temple in Bundall, 178 Lyndhurst Road, Bundall. So every Tuesday night, the Ramayana sessions have begun and they're taking place. And when it was off that time, we used to run it via Zoom. But right now, it's once again, 20 people are allowed. As you can see on the carpet, we've got crosses marked as to where people can sit so that the distancing and everything else is taken care of. So, ladies and gentlemen, this has been another segment of Australian Indian Radio's daily life update. It's wonderful to see, all these things happening around our community, such goodness that's happening around our community, and everyone sort of seem to be working together on these things. As I know, many of our mandirs and gurdwaras are closed. Inala Gurdwara, they have sent us a message that the Langar, Sunday's Langar have begun once again. So, you are welcome to go. but everyone is always requested to take the precautions and be mindful of the restrictions that have been imposed by the government, so that we can do the right thing. We can show that we are responsible citizens and providing and adding to the community and not adding to the chaos, but providing vital and information service and above self, and of course being good citizens of the country. With that, I'd leave you with a blast from the past as we now through our Multicultural Council, Queensland Multicultural Council. If you'd like to be a member, I'd like to welcome you to that. Please join in. And this was one of the events which we held in Redcliffe quite a few years back. This is indicative of what we do via Queensland Multicultural Council. So if you are not a member yet, why? There's nothing stopping you. Please go on to Queensland Multicultural website. You can download the forms, fill in the forms, become a member, and be involved. Make a difference, and walk the walk and talk the talk, as they say. So here's that multicultural community gathering which I arranged in Redcliffe a few years back.
On which we meet and pay my respects to the elders past and present. And tonight is, as Anthony has mentioned, been a very important night. And amongst our guests here tonight, we also have all our budding candidates as well. I know tonight is Multicultural Forum, it's not on the politics, but I'd like to also recognize their presence here tonight. And look at Redcliffe, all the locals who live here, what a wonderful place, it was a beautiful place. And for a few of you who have crossed the bridge to come here, what a wonderful place. It's a great opportunity for you all to discover the beautiful area that this peninsula is. I'll talk a little bit about QMC, Queensland Multicultural Council. We've got our forms out there. If anyone wishes to become the member, you can do so. And it was started in 2007, and we have been celebrating events like Queensland Weeks and all the functions have been very well attended. And so it is a forum like this is what we organize often. So, if your group is not represented on the council yet, please do fill up the membership forms. We have our IGM coming up soon. So, if you become a financial member before that, you'll have the voting rights on that as well. But strongly encourage everyone to become. The idea of holding the forum here in Redcliffe is because we've always had a lot of functions in the south side. This is to give an introduction to Queensland Multicultural Council onto the peninsula itself as well, so that we have the the Multicultural Association of Caboolture and other bodies there, which can all become members, and we can share our concerns and all the things together. Now, tonight, like Anthony mentioned, first of all, we have the Assistant Minister who has got the insight into the multicultural policy and things. After his keynote address, we'll have a short break. After that, we come back into our community forum. And I know it was a bit of a short notice, but everyone has taken time out of their busy schedules to be here tonight, for which I'm very, very thankful. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, without taking too much of your time, I'd like to welcome each.
So there you are, ladies and gentlemen. I'll leave it at that as we sort of running short of time as well. So there's so many things that Queensland Multicultural Council does. You are quite welcome to become a member. As I mentioned, you can jump on the website and download the form. And there's an online form as well, which you can fill in and become a member. But it would be a very, very good forum for you to be on. Because it is representing the multicultural community right here in Queensland. So, ladies and gentlemen, with that, I'd like to say goodbye until tomorrow. And as I mentioned before, if there's any topic you'd like to talk about, if there's a issue within the community, or if there's a project that you are handling that you'd like to discuss, we are open to everyone. This is not exclusive. We are very inclusive. Anyone who has any topic that they'd like to discuss, please do reach out to us, and we are quite approachable. We will include your discussion within our program as well. So until tomorrow, it's goodbye from me.